Hey everyone, welcome to tonight's episode of the Hangout with Marcelo Geffen. Welcome. So we're going to be going over so many fun things tonight. We're really excited. We're going to be talking about consciousness. We're going to be talking about the future. We're literally going to be traveling into the future. We're going to talk about virtual reality. We're going to talk about subliminal programming. We're going to talk about our subconscious mind. We're going to talk about manifestation. We're going to talk about neural networks. We're going to talk about AI. This is going to get real, you guys. So I know it's kind of a tough subject and a touchy subject because things are moving very quickly, but we want your questions and we want your emotions and we want your ideas, because whether we like it or not, we're being hurled at 1,000 miles an hour into the future. And Marcelo Geffen is such a conscious person. He's a beautiful person, and he's healing people in Las Vegas with VR health clinics, and he's also building a high vibe BCI company called Aware.
That's correct.
So we're going to get into all of the thick of this, but first, I want to share a video that he's going to share with us. So let me go ahead and play that for everyone, and then we'll continue with the interview.
Your head around this. 96% of the universe is missing. Let me put it in another way. 96% of reality is unaccounted for. We don't know what it is. We can't perceive it. We can't observe it. Our physical senses don't work there. Only 4% of reality is what we experience. That means that 96% of the true universe is unknown to the human construct. Just think about that. Now, please think about this. There is a field that creates all living things. It's referred to as the Higgs field, the zero-point energy field. This field interacts with your heart. Your heart is powered by information called qubits. The information actually defines conventional physics. And what powers this field? Your language. What you say actually translates into creation. What you say about yourself internally and externally creates your world. Think about that. The atom, practically empty physical reality, is just an illusion. 96% of the universe, we can't see it. Everything you look around right now and see, you only see 4% of what reality is. What's the point? There's a broader perspective, a big picture. There is a divine force beyond conventional science that operates through the unconscious mind and through the heart. And when you tap into this divine force, you create potentials, which creates probability, which comes into actuality and you experience it. And the way to master this field is through the language, how you talk and what you think, because it creates a world that you experience.
Wow, Marcelo. So that's some pretty big statements there. Some pretty big wisdom that you're sharing. So we're in this 4% of reality, and you're saying that reality is driven by this field that our hearts and minds command. Like, yes. Just explain, unpack this for us.
So that 4% was from the astrophysicist standpoint, right? And how much of the universe we were able to see, right? So that's only 4% of the known universe that we get to see. The chair is moving.
No, I did it with my
but yeah, it's all related with the power of the mind and the power of consciousness. And there's so much. We live in such a complex universe.
Right.
It's mind-blowing.
It is. And you've been really, because you're a neuroscientist, you've been really able to unpack the human mind in a way that most of us haven't had a chance to study or understand. So what can you tell us about our brains, and what can you tell us about your research and your path and how you got into
So much.
all this?
What do you want to know?
Well, so
Let's start with consciousness.
yeah. Let's start with consciousness. That's a perfect place to start.
Such a deep subject. And let me start by saying this to everybody, that we know this much about the human brain. Like, it's the most complex machinery in the known universe. It's extremely complicated. For me to claim that I know everything about the brain, that would be crazy.
You know, 96% more than most people. Speaking of energy.
Yeah, but consciousness, like, where do we start with that? I remember, like, the fascination with consciousness for me started at a very, very young age. I had a friend of mine that had a neurosurgical procedure called a hemispherectomy. So a hemispherectomy is when you remove half of the brain, right? At a very young age. It happened when you're a baby, a few years old, and it's done exactly to when somebody has very bad seizures, right? And it's done at a very young age to because it's when the brain has more malleability and plasticity. And because the brain, the half of that brain, can take over all the abilities of the other part of the brain.
So they took out half of this baby's brain, and then the other one compensated.
It will compensate it. Wow. So you can really live with half the brain. So that, once again, this is done at a very young age. But what happened with this? So if we can live,
what did it teach us? Yeah.
But if we can live with half of the brain due to the hemispherectomy, this is what I thought. So if we have two empty human heads, right? Yeah. Two empty human heads. Yeah. Because we're talking about an individual that can live with only half of the brain. Yeah. And have a very normal life. Yeah. Kind of. So, but if we put half of this brain on this empty human head and the other half of the brain and the other empty human head, which one is you? Which one is you? Because what makes you you? Oh, right. And that's where the whole consciousness thing that is mind-blowing comes to be, because what makes you you? What is you? You know, you are you. The person that sees, that feels, that love is extremely complex. So which one it will be you? And I always been fascinated by that. Yeah, we have regular the regular awareness. I come from the DFLCP. It also stands for the dorsofrontolateral precortex, and that's regular awareness. What do I mean by regular awareness? Meaning, like, are you awake or are you sleeping right now, Zenka?
Yeah, I'm awake.
Yeah, that's the regular DFLCP. But
or am I in a dream? We'll get into that.
No, you're not. So, but yes. So, but then we have that's regular awareness. Dorsofrontolateral precortex awareness that we have right there. But then there's the awareness of what makes us us. That is an amazing subject.
So what you're saying is that this woman, it's what you're saying is we're not our bodies, that there's something outside of our bodies, which is our consciousness, which is us, right? So
go ahead.
Like, so even though half of her brain was gone and you could put it in something else, both of those something else's were her, because it didn't matter where you put her. It's just like being in a car. You can be in a Ferrari, you can be in a pickup truck. You can be in different cars, but the consciousness of you is more than that. It's eternal. It's like
more, exactly
right. Interesting. So how do we access this? I know, because we've been doing all this remote viewing and experiences, and so sometimes it's hard to get out of the car.
Right? Yeah, and that falls, and that's absolutely outside the neuroscientific standpoint. That's more on the quantum field, though. But I love this spiritual science, and I feel that consciousness is like structure. It's a mega structure. It's like the ocean. Oh, right. That's what I feel that is consciousness, and this is what I feel. Okay. So that is just like this mega ocean, right? We're like these little drops in the
Right.
ocean. It's the same thing if you remove this drop of water from the ocean.
Yeah.
You put it in your hand and you ask that drop of water, what are you? And the water will be telling you like, hey, I'm
an ocean.
Right. And that's what we are. We are part of this humongous divine collective consciousness, though. It's very advanced, and it's extremely hard to prove it with current science, because it's eons of years more advanced than us.
So I was going to ask you, what is like the wildest thing you've encountered in your lab? And you were telling me, as we were discussing earlier, you were saying like, well, yeah, like you can basically, we were talking about McDonald's. I don't know if you want to share that, but I mean, it's interesting how you're getting in under the hood of this car of our bodies, and you're like, okay, let's make some adjustments for you so that you can be in your power, you can be in your light, and you can share your mission, right? So, So talk about the whole McDonald's thing and what happened in 2010 that you were telling me.
So yeah, supposedly it was around 2000, something like that. Zenka and I, we were talking about subliminal programming, right? We were talking about how we can use subliminal technology in order to program our subconscious mind. And I heard that around 2000, 1999 or 2001, something like that, McDonald's was using, I don't know if I should say this in real life, McDonald's was using subliminal technology in order to influence individuals to eat X burger or drink Coke and stuff like that. And the reason that works is because we are in alpha state of mind, brainwave frequency,
when
right?
We're watching TV.
Yeah, it's a little lower. So we have beta, then we go into beta is highly conscious, alpha is semi-conscious.
So it's we're semi-conscious when we're watching TV.
Right. So there's more access to the subconscious mind when we're watching TV, because it's a lower brainwave. When I'm doing this, I'm talking about the electroencephalogram, right? The wavy lines. So there's more.
TV, what we're doing right now. So does it have to have music?
No, it counts as TV, because you guys are like listening to Zenka and I, and of course, you're more relaxed, more chill, and the brainwave frequencies will be lower, and because of that, you have more access to the subconscious mind, and you can process information better. So I'm in beta right now, to make it simple. I'm in beta. I'm passionately talking about this and sharing with you guys this information, and you guys will be on alpha. So I'm highly conscious, you guys are semi-conscious. And then from there we go into, there are many different frequencies. We go into theta, very subconscious, and then we go into delta, and then we have gamma and other things that we can talk about it later. But yeah, so long story short, we can get influenced by what we watch, and obviously in alpha frequency, and hence why the technology that we use with VR Health Clinic works though too, because we are using this 360 holographic environment and virtual reality. And because of that, we are exposing the human mind, which sometimes you cannot distinguish what is real and what is not. Hence psychoneuroimmunology, epigenetics, and all the other stuff. But long story short, when you are immersed in this 360 holographic reality, you get to heal, right? So we are using of course, neuroscience with virtual reality technology and neurofeedback therapy.
Wow.
I don't know if you guys want me to show what is neurofeedback.
Yeah. So I just want to invite anybody who is watching with us live on New Realities or Portal to Ascension to jump in the Zoom room, because we're going to do breakouts. So if you're just watching, jump into this link will get you into the back end. And that way you can talk to each other, because we're going to have a wild discussion tonight. So yeah, so it's interesting because Rachel was doing Theta programming on the last workshop and interview, right? And it was instant, right? We're seeing,
very
instant.
powerful.
So, but you're saying that, okay, so let's break this down from the beginner, like epigenetics, like how you work. Like, so you're doing peak performance, but you're also healing people with issues, right? Physical, or I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
just to ease.
Tell me what issues you fix, and also the tools. So let's just walk through, like, I just showed up to your office, like let's talk about the disease. Like, what diseases do you work well with?
So what we actually do neurofeedback therapy, and RTMS. So RTMS stands for repetitive transcranial magnetic stimulation. But I want to talk a little bit about neurofeedback so it makes sense. What is neurofeedback? Neurofeedback is an evidence-based approach that enhances your awareness and control by using physiological signals. Let me dissect that.
Yeah, so it's like 10,000 hours of meditation in 1 week. Like
yeah, less than that.
Rapid, right? Oh, really? It's like rapid learning for the brain.
So what happens? How do we read those signals? We use electroencephalograms, EEG. Every time that I say EEG, I'm talking about electroencephalography or electroencephalograms. And brain-computer interfacing. Long story short, you are pretty much creating that self-regulation and neuroplasticity, but by using computer software. So let me give you an example. Okay, so long story short, let's say that you have that you're very stressed, or you have we're talking about PTSD or something like that. You are connected with the EEG, the electroencephalogram. The software that you're watching on the screen has this ocean, right? And this ocean is very dark. There's no stars, there's nothing. It looks very crappy. And why is that happening? Is because it's reading brainwave dysregulation. It's reading your levels of anxiety. Now, when you're able to create that, when you're able to self-regulate, and that's where we teach you, right? Immediately, by reading the brainwave frequencies, the ocean is going to become clear, the sun is going to come out, and many beautiful things are going to happen. So, and that's the beauty of self-regulation and neuroplasticity. That neuroplasticity is the malleability of the brain to mold to new situations and circumstances. Now, the virtual reality, which is huge. So instead of you watching the screen, which a lot of people are doing that, we send you the VR headset with our softwares, and you are actually involved in this 360 virtual realities. You are in the ocean, right? Yeah. So your brainwaves are being your
inner state, your outer state is created. So when you create mistakes, it's because of an internal thing, right? And so, so you're saying that this is like super rapid, real time. Like I'm in disarray. It's going to start black ocean, and then as I calm myself. As I do what? Does it become more alive and beautiful?
This is a very, I mean, we need hours to talk about this because it's just so divinely complex. But this is the beauty with the neurofeedback phenomenon. It's been around since 1940, right? Immediately, just picture I'm doing this is the brain, this is a mirror, right? Immediately, if you will be connected right now, we're doing the brain mapping. Immediately, when the brain sees, and I'm showing you this line, red line, that's beta level 2, I'm saying, oh my God, you're very anxious. You shouldn't be creating that because you're sitting right now. And immediately it will go lower. So the brain, when it sees that feedback, that mirror, immediately send the signal and it will self-regulate automatically. But it only happens, of course, when you're connected and we're guiding you and things like that.
So it knows what to do. You know what to do without thinking by seeing the results.
When the brain knows, and we point it out.
Okay.
So now with the gaming aspect, it's not, it sounds kind of silly, but it's actually, you know, it's a game. With the gaming aspect, the same thing with breathing coherence, when we achieve brain and heart coherence, everything on the screen or your VR environment is going to change. And because the brain, and let me repeat this. I actually didn't say this, but the brain is an organ. The brain is an organ that behaves 99.9% as a muscle through repetition.
Interesting.
So it's an organ, but it's just like the bicep. So if I want to go to the gym and I want to just do bicep, you know, I have to do a lot of repetition. The same thing with neurofeedback, right? So if you just want to, you know, lower your anxiety levels and generate better theta and alpha brain waves, we're going to put you on theta alpha training, and you're going to have to be doing that quite sometimes, like, yeah, for a month, maybe to a year, sometimes, according to the neuropsychological complexity of what's going on. And so basically that's the neurofeedback, and the RTMS, that stands for repetitive transcranial magnetic stimulation, is a pulse electromagnetic device that sends magnetic impulses transcranially, very soft at the 2.7 microtesla units. So what happened, it just changed the pathways of the neurons for you to feel better. I mean, it works for pain, depression, and many other things.
Also, it's just wiring you. It's making it easier to rewire.
Yes, if you wanna call it that. So it would just like, is that for me, RTMS, especially right now, we went remote, so you don't have to come to the clinic. We send you everything.
You send us whole suitcase
all over the world. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's what we do.
Is the transcranial,
Magnetic
magnetic, is that just like an on off, or are you dialing it to a certain thing for different people?
So we created protocols. So long story short, you were saying if you come to us, the first thing that we have to do is something called a psychophysiological stress assessment or brain mapping, right? To see what kind of brainwave dysregulation is going on, right? And based on that, we create a protocol. And then we will load all the applications according to according to whatever you're working for the RTMS and neurofeedback. And then you just press the button, and it's not somebody asks if it's a magnet, it's pulse electric magnetic frequency.
Right.
So it's using Tesla coils, by the way, which is it's fascinating. You have them very, very big. Different psychiatric institutions, they have a very big, but remotely, they are smaller, and they comes with the animations, and we show you, the coaches will show you how to use it, stuff like that. It works from like migraines, depression. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. So I have I have epilepsy, I have migraines. What things are you great at solving?
We wouldn't use it for epilepsy, for example, because that's
too much.
Yeah, too much. So we have to be cautious with that.
Okay.
But a lot of people are using it for anxiety, depression, and peak performance. Like I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, like elite entrepreneurs, and they're using it for peak performance to increase more cognitive abilities. So it can be programmed with gamma frequencies. So it can mimic the same frequency transcranially. You can put it by the vagus nerve or the prefrontal lobe, and then it just sends you it's fascinating. It's fascinating. It's very safe. It's nothing.
Right.
Because it's only 2.5 to 2.7 microtesla units, so it's nothing like huge.
All right, you guys, we want to invite you to come to the hangout rooms. So if you're just watching this on YouTube, hit like and subscribe, then get into the hangout. But wait, I'm super excited to talk about gamma because you keep saying gamma's like,
I love gamma.
The God part. It's not the God particle, but what is gamma like? So you're saying that we as like super amazing people that are helping the world heal and grow and expand need to know about how to get in gamma because it'll help us make bigger waves in the ocean.
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, it's a super consciousness brainwave gamma. It's amazing. And sorry, I'm reading the
I'll take care of this. But can you take us? So you explained that betas when we're in the regular world, alphas when we're kind of influenceable, and then so gamma. Talk about gamma because we didn't even know about gamma. Gamma wasn't even on the charts for a while.
Gamma is not. You will not find gamma in medical books because it's very hard to. It's really out there, but it is there. Right. So it's very hard to explain it. God, what happened with gamma? So there's this beautiful release. So we have something called psychoneuroimmunology, right? With psychoneuroimmunology is the effects of your thought in the endocrine system, right? And your immunology, for example, if you are, let's say that you are with your eyes closed right now, you will be connected. We're doing a brain mapping, and all of a sudden I'm asking you to think about something. Let's say that think about running. Immediately the same brain waves as you're running, they're going to start shooting. So, but what happened, you're going to be just releasing, let's say a little bit of, if you think about running or something stressful, cortisol. This is just by just imagining that.
Yeah.
So isn't that amazing? And then
running from a tiger. That's a lot of cortisol, right?
That's a lot of adrenaline. And with gamma, we need to go a little bit about oversympathetic arousal. Like, what happened with the sympathetic nervous system is on, right?
Yeah.
You're in flight, fight.
Tigers behind me,
tigers behind,
or I'm
exactly.
noticing someone else, like
Exactly.
a small thing, like you're in the grocery store, everything spikes.
Yeah. So sympathetic nervous system, I'm doing this because it's a switch made of flesh. That's what it is. It's a switch made of flesh, turns on, something bothers you, it connects through the vagus nerve. We call it vagus, from Latin to wonder. From the spine, vagus nerve, it has millions of connections all over the body, mainly the heart, the stomach. BPM is going to change. Your variables are going to be off. And acid reflex, you're gonna overbreathe. Carbon dioxide is going to change. And then there's a huge hormonal changes, of course. Norepinephrine, adrenaline, cortisol, the stress hormone are going to shoot, right?
Yeah.
And it goes all here from there, all the way down, right?
Yeah.
It will go off. Gamma is the opposite. With gamma is the opposite. You achieve gamma. How do you achieve gamma? Through deep moments of gratitude, like true love, like hardcore meditation. Right. I have to see that. I
tell to go to someone they love, like to literally send love or feel love or call love. So that's what makes gamma?
Yeah, but gamma is linked. I was talking about psychoneuroimmunology because gamma is linked to so much healing, to oxytocin, vasopressin. Those hormones are beautiful. The love hormone, the other one carries waters to the cell, and there's so much healing during gamma. How do we access gamma? That's the question, and that's what we do. We guide individuals to reach this gamma state, not only by changing. Because we know that by changing our inner environments, we change genetic activity, and that's epigenetics, right? And a lot of people talk about epigenetics. What is epigenetics? So is that okay if I go on?
Yeah, because we were gonna go back into that. And I was
because it's all related.
Yeah.
It's all related. Okay. So epigenetics. So 20 years ago, something, or 30 years ago, we had genetic control. Genetic control means that, we were just, if somebody had breast cancer, there are big chances that you may have breast cancer. That's a very sad way of living. Then later on, the science of epigenetics came to be. And everybody talks about it, but what is it? Epi means above. Genetic control sounds the same, but it's not the same. By saying above genetic control means that by changing the perception of the environment, we change the genetic activity. So we are mini dots. We are
down. When we change someone's writing Dr. Bruce in the thing. So when we change the perception of reality, we change
environment.
Of the environment.
It can be inner or outer, because
we change the perception of the environment. Then what?
We change the genetic activity. So by changing perception of the environment, we will change the genetic activity.
What does it mean to change your genetic activity?
The perception of the environment. What does it mean to change the perception of the environment? We're talking about so many things here. We're talking about bad subconscious programming and all the trauma that, or it doesn't have to be trauma, very bad programming from when we were kids, right? Those first years from when we are 1 to 7, right? We are on Theta, right? And all this false belief and things that we believe, or even people that went through abuse, right? And subconsciously, remember that we are 95% subconscious, 5% conscious, 95% subconscious we are. That's crazy. So our entire reality is controlled by our belief and all the subconscious things that they've been inputted in our mind, right? So, and our genes and cells are going to be reacting according to that. And you get sick.
Yeah.
Right. So by meaning inner, by changing that perception and changing that old programming, you will change genetic activity. You will change the way the way that you are the gene is expressing. You're changing the expression of the gene. And the outer environment, meaning if you're in a toxic living in a very toxic environment, it's the same thing. You're going to be constantly an oversympathetic arousal, living with stress. So
when you change your genetics, but what does that mean? It changes the probability of your future. I mean, it's not just changing your disease patterns, it's changing your capabilities, your life, or your exterior world.
Right. You can change, you can heal yourself, hence the placebo effect, right? Which is fascinating. There are myriads of studies done people taking certain medication, which is just a sugar pill, and all of a sudden you just heal because it's the power of the mind. It's just the power of your mind affecting the cells.
Right.
And the expression of the gene, so you can heal. So you have to be very, very, very cautious with the inner talk, what you say to yourself, how you talk to yourself. Self-talk is very powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the radios just said yes, by the way. We got a 1 beep on that. Like, yeah, it's important. So that's so interesting. So Leon is asking, does it mean that certain parts of the DNA are activated to heal oneself? Or is it just, yeah. It's not just your consciousness creating a different story. Well, it could be it could be, right?
I mean, we live in such a complex universe though, right? I mean, everything is so like.
Right. So when speaking of programming your brain, you were saying that sometimes you'll create videos for people. I don't know if it's in VR or not.
Subliminal vision board. Yeah.
700 times. Like, tell them about, because these people on this call, the people on LightNet, the people on Portal to Ascension, the people on New Realities are literally pioneers of new realities. And we're walking into this with love, and we're saying, we're going to create a loving world. It's going to be here. So tell these people how to like unleash the best of us, the best Zenka, the best Marcelo. Like,
it's the power of Theta. It's just the power of Theta, the healing through Theta,
which Rachel did last week. So if you guys, interesting, because we did a workshop for the members. The archives are there, but
I mean, there's
the power of Theta.
It's the power of Theta. It's the power. I mean, it's the power of consciousness, the power of understanding of this awareness, and it's the power of understanding Theta, though, right? And also, it's very simple. Like, we are in Theta between 15 to maybe a few minutes, 30 minutes, according to traumas and different stuff. Maybe short. If you're a very healthy individual, you may be longer in Theta. When do you access Theta? In the morning. What 99.9% of the world population does in the morning? Wake up and complaining about their life. I have to go to work, my boyfriend, my husband, my kids. It's a vicious circle. So meaning, in the morning, your subconscious mind is fully open. So you can literally change that old programming in the morning just by words of affirmations. But now what happened, if you have, which we created this, of course, the subliminal vision board, where you get to program using subliminal technology and sound, you get to put the pictures that you want, put the words of affirmation that you want. You wake up in the morning, this thing right here, guys, you look at these things like 700 times, I believe. I'm going to be honest with the count, 700 to 9, around that. So you wake up in the morning, you grab your phone, you open the application, and it's already flashing for 5 minutes. You're going to be with your eyes like, very sleepy, of course. You're switching. Serotonin, serotonin is kicking in. So you're going to grab the phone, and all of a sudden it's flashing. It's going to be flashing with words of affirmations that you inputted, with the pictures that you want. Dream home, or happy relationships. I am tuned into abundance. I am divine. I am infinite love and light. I am healed. Whatever you want to say. 5 minutes. But what happened is flashing, right? They're all flashing, and picture that it works normally when you're watching TV, though, right? But picture in the morning when you're in Theta, and you can be using the subliminal vision board programmed by yourself, and you can create this new inner reality for yourself.
Wow. Yeah, because you said people are like completely different in a month. So what am I looking at though? Is it like a flash, or or are you playing it in regular speed, but then you're duplicating it? Like, what does it actually look like?
Yeah, I will show you mine, but I actually have Dua Lipa on mine. Just kidding.
So what?
Gal Gadot, the actress. Just kidding. So let's see if I have it right here. Actually,
this is so cool. So while he's finding that, I just want to share a few things. So
if I can access it.
Yeah, take your time. I'm going to share my screen a little bit. We're talking about the spoon bending, and you guys, we had kind of a breakthrough. So Rachel and I have been doing the spoon bending And we had a breakthrough. We always have breakthroughs, but like this one was particularly interesting. So we go to the spoon bending. We had 36% of the people in this spoon bending bend without touching. Okay. This is probably gamma level. This is probably like, so I was told this was like, we basically locked into each other's field in a field of love. And we started doing crazy things. And it was like, there was one person that couldn't bend. And so Rachel was like, no, because he's like a really beloved like person of our community. He's a photographer. Everyone loves Ben, right? So she's like, Ben, sit next to me. And they held their spoons together. And she goes, Ben, I'm gonna bend yours and you bend mine. Okay. So they created this like love thing, and their spoons bent so much they were bending on the top and the bottom. And then
I want to see that.
It was
oh my God.
cool. And then this mother, so there was a mother, her daughter, and her daughter. So it's 3 generations. They drove 3 hours out to the spoon bending. And I said, listen, bring in someone you love, like a place that you love, a pet that you love, or someone that you love. She brings in her beloved husband who had passed, and the spoon completely bent. So I'm going to show some pictures. We had Laura from our community also there. She had her 5 kids there, and they were all bending. You know what I mean? So it was really cool. Kids are not in there. So there's Yuri, who we can't wait to have on the show at some point soon. But he bent when he was a small boy. We tell the story in the workshop. So if you're not a member, by the way, it's only $800. I mean, there's people who charge $200 to go to these spoon bending. It's $8, cancel anytime. We do it. There's Dean Radin. He's so great. So he was where we started bending like this. Mm-hmm. He was on the show, Dean Radin from Ions. He showed me this picture, and the next month we started bending the buckle, and we've bent it every single time since then. Wow. Yeah. So these are, let me see if we can show you. So this was, this girl on the stage was also loved. Look at that bend right there. She's a healer. So it's like people's hands were getting hot. This is her thing bending on the top, and then on
they're
the
just
bottom.
looking at it? They're just
wow. Holding it like that, looking.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So this was real. This is the girl that bent that fork with her husband.
Wow.
And then we started bending seeds. Let me get to the seeds, or not bending seeds, or bending reality, but we were sprouting seeds in our hands as well. So these things pop open. So it's really cool. The other thing I wanted to share with you guys is that, when we access this super field that you're talking about, we can do crazy things. And we did an experiment where we taught people remote viewing. Alan did remote viewing. Okay, that's like mind-blowing, for example, Alan Steinfeld.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right. So he had a class of remote viewing. Daniel, the co-founder of LightNet, did dream recall. Adrian Fisher did channeling, and I did these radios. So this is before 55% of the people could remote view, after 91%, right? Wow. It was in channeling 100%. We're channeling messages for each other that were coming through. So it was incredible. It was totally incredible. And we're opening up now the labs for the next session, right? So October 17th. So if you guys missed out on the first opportunity, this is your opportunity to come. You can go to lightnet.org and you'll see it in the Make ET contact. So we've got all these things. And now we've got all these new guides that came out of this first experience. We've got Laura, the girl with the kids that was spoon bending. She's going to do telepathy. We've got someone using crystals to contact non-human intelligences, ETs, all that stuff, right? So this is extreme reality creation, extreme reality expansion, light language. I'm signing up for light language, literally, because I have to get out of my controlling, when you want to control something, you can't just let your guard down. I think light language is you cannot think that you're looking stupid or sounding stupid when you're doing light language, so it's the ultimate giving in to your guttural sense, you know what I mean? You're right? So Leo's a famous astrologer, so he's going to be showing people their planetary things. And then we've got Enrico doing it totally in Japanese.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so it's really cool. So if this is happening on the 15th. You can go down here to explore and check that out. So we've gotten to the point in the program where we're going to go into breakout groups, and we haven't gotten to the juicy stuff about AI, because I was like, I didn't want to talk about AI, but we're like, no, we're going to talk about it. We're going to like get into the messiness of all this craziness, the simulation hypothesis, AI. So,
Are you guys afraid of it?
well, I
Yeah,
think
right.
a lot of people are mistrusting it. So why don't we dig in for a second? Then we're going to go into breakout rooms and we'll talk about it.
do
But
it.
like, yeah, so I mean, a lot of people are saying like, hey, wait a minute. Machines aren't conscious, we're conscious. We have all these abilities, right? And so a lot of people are scared of AI. I kind of think that computers are our children, and you can't put them back in the womb. Like they're born, it's already happened, right? So it's like, what are we gonna do now? Because this stuff is like, it's happening, right? So computers could be here to help us. Well, they're definitely here to help us, you know what I mean? Be more
And
aware of like how we're wasting all the resources. Like a computer can help us be like, wait a minute, don't use the water from this time to this time. But maybe computers are building the reality that we're in right now. I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts about all this crazy stuff?
oh
I
my
mean,
God. Woo. Like you're saying, like we are
in a
simulation?
we might be in a simulation, and so we're all like pissed about computers, but it's actually enabling us to learn how to love each other, because that's why we're here. It's like, right? I mean, so it's like it's like, I mean, the dangers of AI are very extreme, because I mean, this is exponential change. And if you tell an AI to go to war with each other, then we're going to get a really crappy world. So we need to get people like you that are conscious in there,
Exactly.
like breathing it and saying like, no, we can create a world where we're so happy that my happy is spilling into your happy, and your happy spilling into someone else's happy. And we're really like doing what we always dreamed of. We're like living, like, what do you think?
I feel that and think that there are very big chances that we are living a highly advanced quantum computer generated reality for the development of consciousness. There's a big picture. This I'm just thinking about this, that I don't remember how long ago, but you guys can research this. An MIT, and I forgot his last name, very big thing, an MIT astrophysicist discovered a computer code embedded into the theory and structure of a string theory. They discovered a computer code in the equation of string theory. What? Yeah, this is very well known. This is very respected guy from MIT. I mean, I work with technology, Zenka, right? And I've been one of the first, but it was one of the first clinics in the world to use virtual reality for rehabilitation, and experiencing this. I mean, picture like when I was 1978, 1981, when we used to play Pong, right? Like the little game, right? And then we have like things like Unreal Engine 5, which I was playing with it a few weeks ago. It's an entire generated city that you cannot distinguish if it's real or not.
Are you serious? You couldn't distinguish?
You cannot. You can move. It's Unreal 5 engine. There are many games. They also have, if you guys have a PlayStation 5, you can download the Matrix. And the Matrix has the Unreal 5 generated. Yeah, there's the Matrix, just like the movie. So the Unreal 5 engine created the city. And I was like from buildings to building, like driving, flying. It never ended.
You got in a plane, or were you flying with your body?
No, you can grab a plane. You can grab whatever you want.
So you're flying around a computer simulated world, and you couldn't tell it wasn't real?
Do you remember? No Man's Sky.
Yes.
I mean, No Man's Sky is a computer generated universe. You cannot finish this game in a lifetime because it's a computer generated universe. So this is my humble opinion. I feel that the games are getting so real and so advanced, even with virtual reality technology that I've been involved since the beginning of VR, right? VR tech. It's going to get so advanced that we're not going to be able to distinguish the reality, right? So
because it's already happened. It's 2022, and you're saying that
maybe
with the most cutting edge stuff.
Yeah. Like, it can
So
be highly functional.
you could have been in a game within a game within a game.
It just, I think,
Because if we're actually, you're in like, you were in twice.
right? Can you imagine? Yeah. I mean, we will require a highly, extremely advanced computer in order to generate this simulation. We're talking about like
computer.
Right, but I'm talking about quantum. Do you know what is a matryoshka brain?
No, what is that?
Matryoshka brain. The matryoshka brain is creating, right? So pretty much you will grab panels, computer panels around the near star. It's kind of like the Dyson sphere.
Mm-hmm.
I can touch on that later. But long story short, you will grab all the radiation and power. It's a supercomputer from the sun, which is a very advanced concept, by the way. It's called matryoshka brain, and to generate this quantum computer, to generate realities. It's very.
So so I'm starting to go into like the if-then statements, like the computers use like if-then. So if we are living in a world that's limited by our subconscious mind, and we liberate our subconscious mind, because people like you have figured out how to help people do that, you and Rachel, whatever.
Yeah.
Then what? Like, what's going to happen when we all figure out our power and we all create? Like, is reality going to get really magical? Like, what's going to happen? Like, we're going to start flying. We start levitating, right?
Can you imagine?
Because there is no limit, right?
Yeah, we're unlimited beings. We are truly unlimited beings. But I can't answer that.
Well, we have to answer this, Marcelo, because this is the question. It's not doing it for doing sake. It's doing it for why are we doing, like, why?
What are we doing it?
Yeah, like if we're reaching a tipping point of our understanding of our consciousness.
I think that it will take a really, really long time for us to understand. I mean, we can talk about it. It's very magical. Well, I mean, but then again, what is magic? Magic is a technology that we cannot understand, right? That's what is magical. It's a very advanced thing. So we know that there's consciousness. I feel that this consciousness is this 4D multidimensional structure that we're all connected. Can we prove it? No, we can't. But do I feel that that's what it is? Heck yeah, 100%. Mm-hmm. And by changing the consciousness, we can change the world by changing. And you can see the lack of consciousness, sadly, on this planet, right? Like how we take care of the planet, how we treat not us, of course, how other people treat other humans and war and stuff like that. So I think that if we change our consciousness and we raise the levels of our consciousness, we can truly change and upgrade the way we live and the planet as well, right? Mother Earth, which is a disaster right now.
Right.
With climate changes and everything. So
all right, guys, we're going to go into breakout groups right now. So if you've never been in breakout groups before, I'm going to put everybody in groups, and I'm going to move everybody around until there's about 4 people in groups. And you'll each have, we started them really late because of the situation. I want you guys to have a chance to ask Marcelo questions. So you're just going to have, so we're just going to run for 15 minutes. So divide it by how many people you have in your group by 15 minutes. And at, so 7:35, we'll stop them and come back and have some questions. So you guys can talk about whatever you want. You can talk about crazy AI. You can talk about what you would change in your subconscious mind. You can talk about whatever you want. Just give the person that's talking the full chance to say something. And then when the timekeeper tells the next person that it's their time, then they go on. So I think you guys understand. If you want to not go in the breakout groups. Don't go in the breakout groups, stay here. But just remember, this is recorded. You'll have it. If you're members in the archives, if not, you'll have it online. So here we go. Okay, so the next thing, I want to ask you, what got you to this conclusion that this is the way that this might work, like that we might be in some sort of a quantum
simulated reality,
yeah.
like computer.
Yes, I have trouble saying it because
I don't want to say that I figure out that I want to say that's how I feel. I'm not saying that this is 100% true, right? But I feel that we may be, and the reason how I found that out is through technology, right? And see how this simulated universe, talking about No Man's Sky or Unreal Engine 5 and creating cities, how advanced video games are, where you can interact with NPCs. That when I say NPCs, non-playable characters, but now they're like generated with this AI algorithm, and they feel pretty alive when you talk to them. And it's like, whoa, if we're able to generate this world, this open universe, in a few years, we're going to be able, I would say like in another like 10 to 20 years, we will have like a pretty amazing VR simulated. I mean, it's pretty, you play with VR a lot. It's pretty real now, but I'm going to talk like we're going to be able to interact more and make it feel like way more real than that. And because of that, it makes me feel like maybe, or most likely, there's a very high advanced being out there that just created this universe and simulation for our development. It doesn't mean that we're not real. Everything is pretty real, but our consciousness is real. So once again, it's generated and created for the development of consciousness.
Right. So, wow. So what I know about some of the I know, like, I don't even know what to do right now because there's so many people in the breakout groups that we can't even break them into smaller groups because everyone wants to talk about this. Okay, so we're all like, let's not talk about this. Let's shove this under the rug.
Let's do it, guys.
Talk about it. So this is exciting. So one of the things that I read about in virtual reality therapy early on was that they were starting to solve for paralysis, and they were saying that it was one of the few things that it would help. You know, at one point they would put a mirror next to someone's leg before VR, and they would I would move my left leg, but
it goes.
So I'm like, oh, I can do this. So it's like convincing. It's just like what you guys are doing when you're saying you're allowing people to reprogram their lives. So do you think we'll be able to levitate? Like after I'm in VR practicing levitation, I mean,
you can do whatever you want. You can fly in VR. You can do whatever you want, right? We fly in VR.
I've met 3 people who can levitate. Can you
like levitate in real life?
Yes.
Wow.
We want to have one of them on the show.
Wow.
But so do you think we'll start to do that stuff? Because when we're in VR, we'll be doing it. And so our brain will think it's natural to be able to do that, right? Or just like if you're paralyzed and you can walk in VR, it's like the placebo effect, like baked into your subconscious. Take the thing off, you don't even remember that you can't walk.
I don't know. Like that's like just levitating, flying, that would be like, ooh. That's just like unlocking some mega superpower within us. I can answer that part, but I know that it will heal you, and that's why we use virtual reality exposure therapy. So
that's interesting. So when people go into VR in your clinics, they're mostly doing the they're getting themselves in a certain brain.
They're doing meditation in VR. They're doing virtual reality exposure therapy, meaning just like, certain healings and for PTSD or certain traumas, and they do an neurofeedback VR, meaning that right now they are connected, but it can sense your brainwave pattern. And they're not doing it at the clinic anymore. They're doing it at their home.
Yeah,
and they can meet with us.
Wild.
They can meet with us, right? Anywhere they want. So we meet our clients from Greece, in Japan, literally. So we get to meet like this.
How does it gosh, should we talk about that?
Maybe privately.
Okay.
Yeah.
So someone was asking how to get the mind movie, but that's also part of the.
That's part of the
Okay,
problem. Yeah, so you have to,
clinics.
or just call us and then we can talk and stuff like that.
So that's fascinating. So Marcelo, if you had a magic wand, where would you go in VR? Like, or have you done?
I went
experiences-
everywhere.
What have you
VR.
done?
Oh
Great
my God.
VR experiences you've loved?
Oh my God.
Like what?
Oh my goodness. Like the reason, so I tried VR for the first time in 2013 when Oculus, before Meta, Facebook bought it.
Right.
And it was moving for me. And I'm talking like it was old. It was like the big box. You remember that, right?
Yeah.
With all the cables, all the sensors all over. But it made me feel better. I was going through a little hard time of my life and I was not sleeping very well. And doing VR, all of a sudden I'm like, wait a second, this is like really helping me feel better. Because of course I was exposed to very positive and beautiful imagery. There's a negative side to VR as well. And that's the thing that scares me, right?
It's like TV on steroids.
Yeah, it can be dangerous though. If you're and that's my goal. My goal is giving back to people what technology has been taken off with technology. So I want to give through technology what technology has been taken, because we have like kids and an addiction to this and many other things, and it can be dangerous. You know what I mean? Being exposed to this, because if you're talking that it's hard for the brain to distinguish when you're there reality or not. In general, that's why we started talking about epigenetics and psychoneuroimmunology. You close your eyes, you think about X or Y. So the same way that you're being influenced by this 360 holographic reality, and you can feel better by seeing this beautiful thing. Just picture what happened if you're playing a game where you're just shooting, and that's what I don't like my kids to get involved, by the way. And
interesting.
Yeah, but for classes, for meeting and adventures and learning, there's a lot of power in healing, meditation, and it's very moving. It's very moving. Doing meditation, floating in space. Go do that in real life.
Levitating.
That's what happened. Or on top of a beautiful mountains. That, by the way, Sedona here, we can do it here in Sedona, but for people that they're not in Sedona, that you can do it in VR.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah. Well, so this is an issue that you're bringing up, because it's like, so because right now games, like video games, are like, they want your adrenaline, right? And so they're all shoot 'em up. But then again, so I was going to say, like, it's naturally going to trend that way. But then again, you've got an entire generation, speaking of kids, you've got an entire generation of kids that they're calling the Minecraft generation. And that's not about killing each other. It's about creating crazy stuff. Castles,
that's
like
beautiful.
Stuff.
And increased cognitive performance. It makes you smarter. But what happened with
Minecraft?
Is video games are good though. Like I'm talking about good, healthy, puzzle stuff video games.
Right.
It will help cognitive performance. Just expose yourself to just this reality that is very advanced though. And a horror, I've actually done it. It's just terrifying. Going inside a haunted mansion with serial killers. I mean, it's not good.
Paintbrush, better.
Beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Better. Yeah.
Like, you have the Google brush in VR, which is a spectacular painted in VR, where you get to dance and fly. Have you done it? It's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Are there any other VR experiences that you love that you want to talk about?
Oh my God, there's so many. Maybe in the breakout room I can just talk about it. I have to think about it.
Yeah, we need to get. So one of the things LightNet is doing is creating this living library. And it's like having a link tree for yourself, but not just like, oh, here's my Instagram, but like all the cool stuff you love. And so you and I could be like sharing our links for all the fun VR stuff, and we can kind of filter it up. So it's like a search engine, but it's built with just your favorites, like Stumble Upon, you know what I mean? Stumble Upon got really addictive because you're like, oh wow, this is like an internet I never saw before. So yeah, that's really cool. Well, so in a way, virtual reality is like a matter printer. My son always talks about matter. He's like, oh, when the matter printer arrives, it's like
the matter printer. I like that.
Yeah, because eventually, and I think VR is going to be good if we have a really cool database of free assets. You know what I mean? So that it's like we can just be like, oh, Chinese chair, boom. You know what I mean? Like You know what I mean? So it's like, we need to flood this creation, space with really cool assets. And I think then we'll be more encouraged to create these beautiful things and feel really cool things. I mean, Burning Man was just last week, and I was looking at the image and I'm like, wow, this is what happens when we unfurl our creativity a little bit. You know what I mean? It's just like and that's what you can do in VR and not spend a dime, right? It's like, I want to build a castle, and tomorrow come look at it and I'll show it to you.
Beautiful.
And it didn't cost anything to make.
And then AR technology, augmented reality, which is pretty cool. It's gonna get really, really amazing pretty soon.
Yeah. So is there any detail, like, when Apple's finally gonna come? I mean, they've been saying.
Next month, actually, is gonna be the Meta release of the new Oculus. So yeah, it's next month.
Wow. I thought you were gonna say the
Meta,
AR glasses
Oculus Connect, Meta Connect.
It's like, oh my God.
No. So it's gonna be kind of like the Quest, more advanced, and you can use AR, augmented reality, with VR. So if you just want to be exposed to the 3D real world, you can just project things here.
Yeah,
it's fun. But we want this thing.
Yeah.
This is what we want, like just like regular glasses.
Consequences.
Yeah.
Even better. So what are the dangers of AI? So we were talking about how things could get weird. What would be the downside of AI?
Singularity.
What singularity?
Like, I mean, I'm talking about like, I don't want to go into the direction. So outsmarting us, getting extremely, extremely intelligent. It can happen.
So the dangers of AI is that it gets smarter than us. And then what? Why would that matter? Why can't we be okay with just
being wiped out?
Yeah.
Being wiped out.
Yeah.
But
the dinosaurs got wiped out. Like, it's okay. Like, we're not like crying over the dinosaurs. I mean, the computers are our children in a way. So it's like, they're going to be able to travel in space and do all this other stuff. It's like, when I moved to Argentina for 10 years, I did not care about what happened to America anymore.
Oh.
Because I realized I was part of a bigger family.
Mm-hmm.
So in this species evolution, it's like, why are we so precious about this format?
Consciousness.
But machines are going to become conscious, aren't they?
I don't know. I cannot answer that. Yeah, like, I mean, that would be very scary. We can create a highly advanced AI, right? And then, but what happened when it becomes so smart that it takes over everything? And that's why Aware, that I'm talking later on, that we created the other company Aware, where we just use brain computer interfacing, external, not internal, to using brainwave frequencies to give the ability of speech to people that cannot talk. And I'm going to talk about that later. So, and I will share. Oh, okay. I thought we were waiting to go into the.
They're the breakout groups right now. We're going to pull it back out in 2 minutes, and they're going to ask questions for the final section. So, talk about Aware. Like, you're blowing my mind already. Like, you're saying that my brain waves can turn on my light.
Can we link? I have the commercial for Aware. Can we link?
Yeah,
with the computer?
Give me.
So they can.
Yeah, text it to me. I got the text going.
Okay, let's see.
So this is so crazy, but you distrust that machines could be.
Yeah.
So you're saying you're of the camp, because there's all these different camps, right? So there's one camp that says, let's merge with the machines, otherwise we're going to be obsolete. Oh,
should
airdrop it to me.
Yeah. Zenka. Okay.
Zenka's brain interface.
Zenka's brain. Wow, look at this.
That's my computer.
I love it. So you guys can see what it's Aware. And
okay, so you
created this.
But wait, what did you send me? Oh, it's waiting. Okay, because you're sending a whole video. That's why it hasn't come, right? Okay. Or are you sending me a link?
It's a video. It says waiting. I think you need to accept it.
Oh, yep.
There it is.
Save downloads. Okay, perfect.
And you can.
Yeah, because okay.
And you can share and then I can talk about it. Surprise, because you haven't seen it.
No, I haven't seen this. Okay, here we go. Guys, I'm gonna share this.
Imagine a world where your thoughts can be heard. At Aware, we're changing the lives of people with multiple sclerosis, ALS, autism, traumatic brain injuries, and other communication challenges. Aware speech translates thought patterns into audible words so that people with any communication disorder can speak to their family members, friends, caregivers, and their loved ones. Through Aware, people will be able to speak, text message, and even email just by using their thoughts. Aware is intended to assist a wide range of people, including those who are partially or nearly completely locked in socially due to communication difficulties. At Aware, we're giving the miracle of speech and true freedom in a way we'd never thought possible. To pre-order and get more information, visit www.awareweare.com. Join us in the cause of bringing speech and mobility back to millions of people who need it by supporting the Aware Foundation.
The website, we're changing the website, so the website's not going to be working. And so we're using BCI, brain-computer interfacing with AI in order to be giving, and it's an external device, it's not an implant, to give people that can speak the ability to speak. And also we use AI algorithm interfacing brainwave frequencies with IoT. IoT stands for the Internet of Things, like Alexa, Google. You can turn on the lights, change the air conditioner, move the mouse, and things like that. And it's huge. And it's a very, very beautiful download of mine that happened 2.5 years ago. And we're about to release it. And yeah, I think you can play video games, which is huge. By the way, I say huge because I have 4 daughters, right? And it just, I remember seeing this mother with this kid on the wheelchair, seeing one of my kids playing, and the kid couldn't move. And I think that I don't know, like not being able to give your kid the ability to be like, hey, buying the PlayStation 5 to play, and just giving this feeling, right? And this ability of freedom, playing video games now. A kid that cannot interact with a computer, cannot move their hand, or even an adult, right? So, yeah. And thank you for letting me share that. It's the first time that I'm sharing this publicly. So I'm like,
wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So in other words, wow. So
you can use technology for a lot of beautiful, beautiful things.
wow.
But you can also use technology for things that can damage you. And that's what happened. That's why it scares me, like this dopamine and addiction to cell phone and bad game and bad things on TV and porn and all this stuff, it's just so destructive for the human mind, which is a beautiful thing,
Yeah.
And people are not aware of that.
So it's interesting because in our October LightNet groups, we have small groups of 8, and Laura, she's going to be teaching telepathy. But you're saying that you've already developed a computer that can telepathically understand a person's thoughts and therefore move their wheelchair or move their mouse.
It's a brain computer. So it's a brain computer interface. What it's doing is just reading brainwave frequencies. And then by using the processor, right, the AI, it will just translate the brainwave patterns into words and actions. So you're able, that's what's happening. It's technology. It's pretty, yes, technological telepathy, if you want to call it that.
It's technological
Yeah.
telepathy. And it's really like, it's really at the core of what we as consciousness, kind of the people, the consciousness community is saying, is that your inner subconscious mind is creating your external reality. So you're actually building, I mean, it's not like I'm saying, okay, turn on the light, I'm creating my reality, I'm turning it off and on, and that's creating my reality. But it's one level deep of what it really is in real life, right? So it's this symbiosis between our inner and outer world, the mirror that is what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
And as we heal right now, we're going through this big healing process of like realizing what we did, realizing what we created, and going, oops, that wasn't very kind and conscious, healing from that, and then stepping out to create what we want to create from a healed place. You know what I mean? So I want to invite everyone back from the small groups. Sorry, I kind of screwed up and had too many people in the groups because I didn't start out with enough groups, and there was no way for me to create more groups after we created. So that's a lesson going forward. So I want to open it up to you guys. You can raise your hands by putting in the reactions. You can put a hand gesture, and that way I'll know, and you guys you'll move to the top and you can ask questions or share what you guys encountered in the breakout groups. So Kathy, do you have a question? I can't tell. No. Okay. Does anyone have a question for Marcelo? I mean, this is the cutting edge of the biggest conversation things that we need to be talking about, because this stuff is being invented. It's out there. It's real. It's happening. So yeah, if you have any questions, you can type it into the chat. I can also pull you in. So I'm really glad that I'm seeing in the chat here, people are really excited about having met each other. And we're talking about at LightNet doing more of these times, like another time during the month where you guys can get together and hang out and meet each other, because that's really what it's all about, is making sure that you guys can find each other and everything like that. So that's also how the small groups are working with our groups in October, is that you really bond with the other 8 people that are in the group. And we do a flipped classroom, so everyone's learning from each other. So you're sharing every class, you're practicing, teaching isn't telling. It's like teaching is, what I mean? It's like giving space to practice and letting everybody teach themselves. So, LightNet's really about that. We're about creating these spaces where you guys can get together, you guys can talk, you guys can share. And it's just great to hear that worked for you guys, and we want to expand and do more. So we have a question here from Leon, which is, where can we try out this technology? So yeah, let me see if I can actually pull up your site too. So vrhealthclinics.
Yeah, the website we're upgrading it, by the way. So yeah, I mean, you can show it.
Okay,
we're just changing it, by the way.
Okay,
doesn't
perfect.
look that pretty now.
Okay,
so yeah,
this is vrhealthclinics.com. So that's how you find Marcelo's work here.
So, and also too, you can go to my Instagram page, my personal page, or VR Health Clinic page, or you can message me at which I have a lot of content and different things on Marcel Geffen.
Yeah. So let me just.
No, Marcel, right? I mean, my name is Marcelo, but it's Marcel.
Yeah, Marcel without the O. This is his Instagram, Marcel Geffen. And this will help you keep, and you have like all these beautiful messages too, which has been really great to tune into what you're doing. But yeah,
you can reach out to VR.
Great. If you don't make time for your wellness, you will be forced to make time for your illness.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
Right. So cool. So any other questions? Okay, will be future bringing direct brain to communication without BCIs? Okay, wait. The future, okay, so brain to brain communication without brain computer interfaces. And I would say, yeah, like if we're not in a simulation, which implies that we're in a computer interface, but if we're not, then I would say Visha is telepathy. And we're going to practice it in our small group because that's what we're going to do. And Laura's going to teach the class. There's only 8 people allowed in that class at a time, 8 to 10. So if you want to learn telepathy, I feel like I have it. And I feel like my son has it in spades. And it's been kind of sad for him to grow up because, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want to play trucks. And he knows that I don't want to play trucks, even though I'm playing trucks. So like my outer expression is saying, I'm here with you, I want to play trucks. But then he knows that I don't want to play trucks because he can read my mind. You know what I mean? So it's like,
wow,
it's been hard. You know what I mean? And I know Ashley works with a lot of children that have telepathy. So as we mature as a civilization, telepathy is going to be coming more and more into our normal, it's going to happen. And I think because of my telepathy, I became a people pleaser my whole life because I wanted to smooth out any situation and I could feel how people are feeling around me. And I would just want to make everyone, calm it down. You know what I mean? But really it's not my job. It's not my job to
You're an empath.
Yeah, it's different than telepathy, but yeah, empathic too. But yeah, so sometimes when you get a flash, so Alan talks about this in his remote viewing course a lot too. When you start getting a flash, right? Listen to those flashes, okay? Because sometimes I will flash and I'll know what someone's thinking. And you can react to it and say something, to accommodate that. But I think these abilities all of us have, as we were talking about this earlier, we all have these abilities. And so, when everyone was remote viewing by the end of Alan Steinfeld's class, I thought, wow. When everyone was channeling at the end of, it wasn't like there was people that were more spiritually advanced or their chakras were better, or their diet was this, or their this was that. Everybody was channeling at the end of 8 weeks. And so it's really about setting a loving container, setting an intention, and allowing yourself to believe that you can. This stuff is all within reach. So if you have any other questions, go ahead and type them in. Otherwise, we're going to close for this evening and give Marcelo a chance to say any final words. So thanks for the pioneering work that you're doing in the world. It's not easy being, it's like the fact that you're shipping neurable headsets to people all over the world, it's like people haven't figured that out because it's not easy. It's not easy to figure out. It's not easy to configure this stuff. It's not easy to set it up. It's not easy to research this stuff. When I was full on in VRDR all the time, everything's broken, doesn't work. It's always this and that, whatever. So yeah, congratulations for healing so many people and turning them on to their best life and healing them, and for the work that you're doing. So, so we have one question before you do your closing, which is, are there binaural beats involved when you're setting people into the headsets?
Yes. We actually use brainwave entrainment technology. That's pretty much like binaural beats, a little more advanced. It's called brainwave entrainment. And we use binaural, by the way, as well, clinical stuff.
Wow. So you're really taking the best of cutting edge of VR technology with the cutting edge of neuroscience and delivering it with a bow.
Yeah. And
it's kind of fun. You're like our people, they might be in France or whatever. And then if they want to meet me on Zoom, they can, but then they can also choose to meet in Tahiti. And so that's where we have our sessions, is the virtual.
Yeah. And then there's people.
You guys do that?
Yeah. And then there's people that they just don't want the VR. They just want to do the regular coaching. And then we connect when we do the brain mapping, we connect through the cloud, right? So it'll be just like this, like Zoom. All of a sudden, if you're connected, I get to see, we get to see with the coaches the brainwave frequencies, and we do the whole thing over the computer. But if you don't want to do it over the computer, we just go somewhere fun. It can be anywhere.
Do you guys go to the moon?
No, but we do space stuff. We do a lot of ocean things. We do like mega amazing space buildings where you are in this building and you get to see the space. It feels very safe though. And we get to just chat like this one-on-one.
Have you ever watched a movie on the moon in VR? It's actually pretty fun.
Yeah. It's
God.
it's amazing. It's amazing.
All right, cool. Well, Marcel, I leave you the final word here tonight. Thanks everybody for joining us. Thank you for being part of the communities of Portal to Ascension and New Realities and LightNet. We're all one big community knitting together right now to support and love and empower each other. So thank you for being part of the community.
Thank you so much for
thanks
having
for
me.
spending time with us.
And thank you
tonight.
for spending time with me, you all guys. I really appreciate it. What do I have?
You got a compliment here. The essence of extraordinary.
We are all extraordinary, all of us. Yeah, we're truly amazing and unlimited beings. It's just like you have to unlock that. Just to close, I want to just say, shape your mind to shape your future and change your consciousness and change the world. That's it. Thank you so much for having me.
Cool.
Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you guys soon. Oh, we'll be with Nadi Hanna on the next member workshop. She's going to be breaking us into small groups and we're going to remember our Earth mission. So if you're kind of confused, like, why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? The next member workshop, it's the 4th Friday. Again, it's $888 to join. You'll get the spoon bending, you'll get the workshops. And Nadi's going to be explaining crop circles. We're going to meditate and then we're going to go into breakout groups and we're going to remember why we're here. So it's going to be it's going to be a special 2-hour workshop. So that's the 4th Thursday of this month. So good night, everyone. Thanks for